You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to episode whatever it is, because I don't remember anymore. My name's Brock.
I'm Dalby. Let's just scrap the numbers. Then you don't have to worry about it every episode.
Yeah, honestly.
Perfect. Welcome back to the Brock and Dalby Podcast, your daily look in at some of the best stuff from the show, plus podcast exclusives. I just did a big road trip over the Easter weekend. I listened to a ton of podcasts. I feel pretty good about how ours sounds compared to some of those other ones.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, if you really dig into like the Apple and Spotify, it feels like everybody's got a podcast now.
I gotta be honest with you. I have not listened to a single one of our podcasts because that feels like a psychopath move to do for some reason.
You know what it is? I was trapped in the car with my kids for 9 hours and they asked for an episode of the podcast. And when you're a parent, you will literally put on any sound to make your kids
I feel
sit.
like listening to your own podcast is like rewatching a video from a concert you went to, and then you hear your voice like singing along, and you're like, oh, God.
That's the worst feeling.
I don't know if I can stomach listening to my own podcast, dude.
I have gotten to the point now where if I take my camera out, usually for work, right? Like we film stuff when we're at concerts and stuff to share on social media. I go stone cold silent as soon as I hit the record button because I can't live with that secondhand embarrassment.
I'm curious how many, because there's so many podcasts out there.
Everyone's
if you
got one.
Look on whatever you're at, there's a million different podcasts.
Yeah.
But not all of them get listens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, like, the percentage of listenership that is just the people that make the podcast listening to their own crap.
A two-person podcast that gets 2 listens every episode.
That's like having an OnlyFans and subscribing to yourself, dude.
I mean, just makes the number. Having 1 subscriber looks better than 0 subscribers is all I'm saying.
So basically what we're saying is share the podcast with people so that Dalby's not the only one listening to it.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
You know, we weren't thinking about doing a top 5, but then we started talking about what is the longest minute on planet Earth after we found out there's a lady from Alberta who broke the world record for the longest plank at 4.5 hours.
Because everybody will tell you that a minute is 60 seconds, but we all know that sometimes that 60 seconds feels like an absolute eternity, and planking is one of those that seems to bend time and space.
We got a lot of text coming in here, so we figured we'd do a top 5, and I think in the 5 spot, we should put a 1-minute plank in there.
You got to put some respect on the topic that made this whole top 5 come up. Is anybody who's ever done a plank, when you find out that you're only at like 30 or 40 seconds of a minute plank and you felt like, oh, it's not a new day of
Time
the week,
stands still, dude.
it's a crazy warping when you're doing a plank.
Coming in at number 4, this was texted a few times. When your mom told you as a kid to wait 1 minute at the checkout, that's a long minute, dude.
Oh, I forgot the toilet paper. You just stay here. I'll be right back.
In your mind as a kid, you're like, what happens when I get to the front?
Yeah.
But
When the lady's done scanning groceries and putting them in the bags, I don't have money, Mom.
everyone looks mad around you, and you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Just holding the line as a kid at the grocery store is a nightmare.
Which is a nice transition into number 3 of the longest minutes on planet Earth. When you're unsure about how much money you have on your debit card and you're waiting for it to say accepted.
And that's the one, too, like whether you're at a grocery store, you're at the LCBO, maybe you're paying on a date, you just went to a restaurant.
And the worst is when you know your broke ass is broke.
Yeah.
And they start saying, they're like, oh, this thing's always finicky. And you're like, oh, yeah?
Yeah, totally. It's totally finicky, and not that this was a photo finish between my balance and the bill.
I've had it where, like, the pizza guy's there and he's, like, holding it in the air and you're like, please, God. You're, like, literally holding it to the gods for accept, dude.
May you have mercy on me today.
Coming in at number 2 of the longest minutes on planet Earth, we've got waiting for the cop to come back to the car after he pulled you over.
Dude, I don't know what it is about a traffic stop. Even when you know, like, you didn't really do anything wrong, you're just kind of getting pulled over because everyone's
You're like,
getting
do I
pulled
have
over.
warrants?
It's like, everything goes, are my tags expired? Is my license out of date? Is my insurance okay? Is he going to find out that I allegedly murdered 7 people in the 30s? What's going on back there?
And then they do that slow walk back to the car, which feels even longer as you're looking through your side view mirror because you don't want to turn around and look sketchy.
Eyes forward, hands at 10 and 2. Time has never gone slower in your life. And then he goes, all right, have a good day. No, come on!
But number 1, for the longest minutes on planet Earth, and I think for the majority, everyone can agree with us when we say that minute when you're waiting for a pregnancy test. Holy moly, dude.
With an honorable mention in the same vein from a few years ago of waiting for the lines on the COVID test.
Sure.
Anytime you have to wait for lines to appear or not appear on a health test, like a pregnancy test, you're just like, is my entire life about to change?
Yeah. In 1 minute, your whole life could be ruined.
And then knowing, too, that they're not 100% accurate, and that if you get a result you don't like, it just means you have to do this again for an even longer minute.
Yeah. Waiting 1 minute to also be unsure. What's the positive? What's the negative? Man?
Yeah, you're looking back at the box.
Because I didn't mean, depending on what side of the coin you're on, like, it's a positive or it's a negative. You know what I mean?
Either you were trying for this, or you're about to try and figure out this person's last name, and there's no in between.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
After the show, looking at the text line of more longest minutes that some people sent in. I haven't had to deal with this one for a long time as a grown man, but someone texted in and said, that minute after your parents catch you doing something you weren't supposed to, where they're just quiet.
Oh.
And you're like, just yell at me. Please just get it over with.
I think there's a lot of people texting in about, like, when you get that we need to talk text.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just in general, when you're texting with someone and you see those bubbles.
Dude.
Those bubbles feel like an eternity. That's a moment in life where time stands still.
I remember when, like, phones and text systems and, like, messaging started to get those where you could see so-and-so was typing. And I remember thinking, like, what a cool thing, because then you know whether the conversation is still going or not. But I would like to go back in history and stop that from happening, because I feel like...
Doesn't it just mess you up when you see the bubbles going and then they disappear and you're like, what the fuck?
Especially if they disappear and then they don't start back up. Because if they start back up, you're like, oh, someone made a typo, changed whatever. But if someone is bubbles, nothing, you're just like, no, that's worse than like... Hey, can I tell you something? Never mind. Don't worry about it. Like, no, tell me what you were going to say.
It's like making love to someone and seeing them yawn in the middle of it. You're like, I thought everything was going all right. Like, what's going on
here? This felt good until this precise moment.
I mean, hell, sometimes like 1 minute of sex can feel like a long time, depending on which side of the coin you're on.
I was going to say, for about 50% of the equation, it feels like a long time. And for the other half, not so much.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
There's nothing we love here more than a good Florida man story. There's actually 2 that I was reading this morning, and I wanted to sneak them into the show, but I didn't know if we had enough time.
Just no room. We can't possibly get all the Florida content we want in the show.
I'll give you 2 headlines that came out. A Florida man is facing charges as police say he stole an alligator and attempted to throw it on a roof.
You know what the best part about that is? Is that stealing the alligator implies that somebody else owns the alligator. And you can only own an alligator in Florida.
Also, like, it didn't really explain why he was throwing it on a roof or anything like that.
That's a feat. That's got to be hard.
You grab him by the tail? Is that what it is?
I picture pressing it up over your head. I don't know how you get it there, but that's how I would do it.
Then the other one that I saw was a Florida man fights with deputies after fleeing on go-kart. This guy stole a go-kart from a go-kart track.
Tried to make a go of it and then got up and threw hands with the authorities.
Honestly, like every single day there is a different Florida man story.
Just beautiful.
And it makes me laugh my ass off. Honestly, it's like Florida is almost like Grand Theft Auto is what it seems like.
Honestly, based on some of the headlines, it feels like most of these, like, steal a go-kart, drive it, avoid the authorities, and bring it to like a garage.
Steal a gator, throw it on a roof.
Feels like missions from a Grand Theft Auto game.
Someone should make a Florida man game.
It really does feel like there's an opportunity to make a lot of money
It'd
here.
literally be like Grand Theft Auto, but like your tasks and weapons are based on like real headlines.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Like, it wouldn't be the same as, like, you're not running around with the rocket launcher or anything like that, but you are getting health bonuses from, like, prescription drugs.
Each crime you commit makes you stronger. You refuel your health with like bath salts and bush lights and stuff like that,
You're not trying to become like the head of the crime family like a lot of the GTA games. You're just trying to live free, brother.
Every time you respawn, it's like Grand Theft Auto where you're outside of the police station. Maybe a swamp or something,
Oh, dude, man, you could drive around in one of them Everglade fan boats. That would be a sick chase mission.
But the whole point of the game is to always end up getting caught. It's not like Grand Theft Auto where you're trying to escape.
That's right. Yeah, the high score is like how many times can you be arrested?
You can never actually win the game. It's one of those ones that just keeps going on. You could have multiplayer where like that's where the family disputes and the domestic things come into play. Like,
dude, you know what? Because people are always talking, since I've been a kid, I've been hearing the same old story about how video games make people violent. They make people do bad things. But if you could go into a video game and you could get out your Florida man tendencies in a video game, in a digital world, maybe these people don't commit as many atrocities in real life.
It would honestly be a real self-esteem boost to play. It's kind of like Grand Theft Auto where you can just go and you can rage out for like an hour and you're like, you know what? I feel like I'm a normal member of society now.
Get it all out of your system and then go be a productive member of society again.
Go be a Florida man for an hour. Then come back. That's the new version of take a lap, dude.
Go be a Florida man for a bit. Come back when you're feeling better.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I got yesterday on April Fool's.
No, what happened?
Was that hockey podcast Spit and Chicklets?
Yeah.
They posted on their Instagram a photo of Phil Kessel with a tweet from the Leafs saying, "We just signed Phil Kessel to a 1-year deal."
He's coming back.
I was so excited. I sent it to like 5 buddies, and then like 5 minutes later, everyone was like, "You idiot, look at the comments."
No.
I thought I was free, man. I thought I was free from getting got on April Fool's.
I almost got in the afternoon. I read an article that said there's this company, NVIDIA. They make like graphics cards and chips and stuff like that. They are one of the biggest companies in the world thanks to the AI boom. They're like at the forefront of it. The article said that they had bought the Xbox brand from Microsoft, and I was like, oh my God. As a gamer, I'm like, this has huge implications.
Oh, totally, yeah.
It's all fake. It's all, I was like, oh.
Everything that you read yesterday, I assume, isn't real other than the carbon tax becoming a thing.
Yeah. That one happened.
That was the only thing that wasn't a joke yesterday.
Yo, did you see the Filipino fast food joint and their April Fool's scandal from yesterday?
No, what happened with that?
There was this place, I might be butchering it, but I believe it's called Taragus or Taragus.
Okay.
They're a takoyaki place. It's like, I think it's a squid or octopus sort of thing.
Okay.
Anyway, they posted a post on their Facebook page, and I guess they do kind of like a lot of like, try to do a lot of viral eating videos and stuff. Like that's kind of their brand. So they posted this post that essentially offered what I believe is the equivalent to $100K American if you would get their logo tattooed on your forehead.
And they were doing it as a prank?
Now, the pictures that I've seen, because they've deleted a lot of stuff off their Facebook page.
But they were posting that as like a joke for April Fool's? Or?
The stuff that I've seen is they made this post, but at the bottom it does say April Fool's on it. But apparently in the Philippines, April Fool's is not as like widespread as it is over here. So in the comments, somebody posted a picture of them getting the tattoo. They went out to a tattoo shop and they got Taragus Takoyaki right across their forehead. Eyebrow to eyebrow, hairline to down. And now there's a debate as to whether or not this company owes this man $100,000.
Nah.
You don't think so?
No, that guy's an idiot. Were you just going to do something because the internet told you to? Like,
that is essentially what happened. But I think it's not so much that, like, from what I've read, and again, like, there's a lot of translation and stuff like that here. But it seems like this was just a dude who was, like, struggling paycheck to paycheck and thought, I don't care about what I look like. This money will change my life, and went for it.
Maybe it's reasons he makes decisions like that why his finances are in shambles, bro. I'm just saying, like, I get it. A great opportunity to make some money.
Yeah.
But you got to read the fine print, dude. It's like any contract.
Well, but that's the thing, is there's no real fine print.
If they said April Fool's in the post, then it's April Fool's.
But if April Fool's isn't a thing in the Philippines...
It's a thing everywhere.
But apparently it's not.
I don't know.
That's the thing.
I don't live in the Philippines, but I'm just saying, if you put April Fool's in there, like... It's not like they signed anything with this guy being like, yes, we're giving you the money.
Right. I get what you're saying, but also the 2 words on the post, the only 2 words that would imply this is not real are English words. April Fools. This man does not speak English, so even the warning is
that's
not
a bad
in a
argument
because
you know as well as I do on every social media, there's a C translation.
When not it's in the graphic.
Okay,
you can't translate their
I thought
photo.
you were saying this was like the caption or something.
No, I honestly have no idea what their caption is. So they posted this. They deleted it because they were like, oh no, brother, please do not get this tattoo. Too late. Then they posted another post being like, hey, this was an April Fool's prank. We take no responsibility. We were having fun. You shouldn't have done this. And that, as you can imagine, also didn't get a great reception.
People are going to be pissed with them, but I mean, I don't think they're in the wrong here.
I don't know, man.
Also, you're an idiot. $100,000 to get a company's logo on your forehead for the rest of your life?
Is that not enough for you?
Ask for more money, dude. Ask for more money. At least $1 million. You're a walking billboard for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's true. You'd think at least they would reach out to him and be like, yo, you can eat here for free. Like, we got locations. Anytime you're through, just point to your forehead. Don't wear a hat. We'll hook you up. Like... Because they're getting slammed internationally for all of this. It feels like they could have found a way to make it work with the guy who did just become their unofficial spokesperson.
I don't know. Give him like a gift card or something. Like you can make it worth his while, but I mean...
One free entree with order of other entree.
You two can dine for $9.99 coops or something like that,
762-555. We're on opposite sides of this. I think that they have some responsibility. You're saying this guy's just dumb.
He's an idiot.
For not following through.
He's like the guy who falls in love with a girl after going on one date. Like, that's this guy.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We've got friend of the show, Jordan, on the phone. Brother, what do you think this company should do?
At the very least, try to get him a cover-up. That or at least try to get the laser surgery or whatever it is to remove this stuff.
I think it's one of those things where you just got to live with it the rest of your life. Like, that's it, dude.
Hey, he's the one who failed Rule 1. No face tattoos.
Now, here's the thing, Jordan. How much money could we pay you to get a Brock and Dalby face tattoo? What would be your price?
Not enough.
No. Everyone's got a price.
Everyone's got a number.
$1 Million Man told me so. What's the number to get the Brock and Dalby show tattooed on your face?
Not enough. That's the one place that I will never get anything on there, so.
Jordan? You've been a long-time friend of the show, but I need you to know right now you are lying. You are lying to us and yourself.
I'll get it anywhere else on the body, but I know I will never do face because good luck getting a job halfway.
$500,000.
Nope.
$1 million.
Nope. I love the show, but I got standards.
I don't have standards, I guess.
I got a number. I'll tell you right now. I'm thinking like Powerball money. I'm thinking like $500 million. I would get a company logo tattooed on my face. I might be picky about it. Like, if it was like something inappropriate.
I'm going to be honest with you. $1 million probably.
That's it, eh?
$1 million. I mean, think about it like this.
Okay.
You get a cool $1 million in the world we're living in right now.
Yeah.
Face tattoos are kind of just becoming a normal thing. Like, remember growing up, we were both told as kids, you get tattoos, you're never going to have a job.
Dude, Mike Tyson got that tribal tat on his eye, and everybody was just like, this is a sign of mental illness.
Yeah.
Nowadays, Well, look at a Post Malone for a celebrity. Like, everybody loves his face tattoos.
Dude, look at, like, a lot of Gen Z kids coming up right now. It's just a thing that they get. They just
a normal thing.
Face tattoos used to be like, you killed a guy and you had teardrops or something like that. You were the scariest mother of all time. Versus now, it's like you got a face tattoo and, I don't know, maybe you're a rapper or something.
Right.
Like,
I do think, though, there's a difference between getting, like, a stylish face tattoo, quote-unquote stylish, versus a logo. Like, if I'm getting, like, some tribal designs or, like, some writing or script or whatever, there's a big difference between the old Coca-Cola cursive across the forehead.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
I think we just need to make face tattoos cool again, dude. Like, that's the problem. It's like everybody's getting them. We need to, like, make rules for face tattoos, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta at least have a felony or something before you get one. You know?
have to have seen the inside of a cell. Drunk tank doesn't count. That's the rule.
Yeah.
If you're getting a face tattoo.
You at least need to have, like, 2 to 3 criminal charges or a felony.
Yeah.
And then you can get a face tattoo. Like, they gotta see your permanent record before you go into the tattoo shop.
If a lady in her 60s or higher is walking her very small dog, she has to be considering crossing the street before you get the face tattoo to prove you're mean enough to get a face tattoo.
Yeah.
She has to be scared of you in your natural state before you're allowed to get the ink done to make it even worse.
You need to have a parole officer, you know?
There you go.
Stuff like that.
If you've never peed in a cup outside of a doctor's office, this isn't for you.
Hashtag make face tattoos cool again.
Make face tattoos tough again.
Yeah.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because you said like $1 million you'd get a logo. Does it change depending on what the logo is? Like, imagine someone comes up to you, because this feels like the kind of company that would. Pornhub is like, get our logo tattooed on your forehead. Does the number go up from $1 million?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the number goes like astronomically higher with that one. Probably looking at like $15-20 million for that.
Still feels low, brother, for Pornhub on your forehead.
I'll probably get a premium subscription with it as well, too.
You got to work that into the deal. 100%. You're a master negotiator.
Also, $15-20 million is pretty good, you know?
Is it in this economy anymore?
Well, you know, you're a bald guy. If I get it on my forehead, I can just wear a hat low enough. It'll cover everything. Like,
that's true. Do you think that I could charge more because I have more real estate as a bald man with a big head?
Maybe.
Like, if me and you were standing next to each other, identical face tattoos, I think mine stands out more.
Yeah.
I'm going into the billboard business, baby.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I was reading online that apparently someone shelled out over $700,000 for one of the most controversial wooden planks in cinematic history.
Okay.
The door frame panel from the Titanic.
The Jack and Rose, could we have both fit on this door?
The one where the dude could clearly still fit on the door. But that chick just let him drown?
Just let him go, yeah.
Yeah, someone spent $718,000 in an auction recently to buy that thing.
What do you do with that? If you buy that door, where, like, do you display it in your house? Do you turn it into a coffee table?
Yeah, like, I feel like, you turn it into, like, maybe like a little lounging chair or something, but like only one person's ever allowed on it, kind of type thing.
I say we call our buddies over at Stone City Woodworking and be like, can you turn this into my new dining table?
If you know what, if you ran a diner or something, it would be perfect to put as a table and be like, but this is for one person only.
Table for one. You have to be eating solo to sit here.
That's exactly it. Or honestly, thinking about it now, you could probably make a bunch of money with this thing.
How so?
You kind of you give it like the fair treatment or whatever. You know that there's like the guess your weight thing or whatever and stuff like that?
Yeah.
What if you had it where people pay, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 bucks, whatever it is. And then you have couples see if they can both fit on the thing.
Ooh.
I don't know, maybe you have like prizes or something like that. You also have to have them sign a waiver because if they break it.
If they break it, you're out $700,000. Yeah.
But if there was like a Titanic land, like a Titanic theme park or something, that'd be a huge hit.
You know what? You would almost don't even have to turn it into like a contest, but like just a photo opportunity. Like,
People would do it.
at your amusement park, it's like, come over and see the door from Titanic. Both of you can climb on. We'll take your picture. Have it elevated so that, like, the guy can stand behind the door and it looks like he's floating in the water.
Yeah.
People would pay $20 easy for that picture.
If you went to the fair here and you just had that thing and you were like, take a picture with the door from the Titanic,
People would give you their money for sure they would.
easy, dude.
I think you and I would get that picture. I think that would be hilarious.
I did say a Titanic theme park, and I don't know what else would be a part of that. Like, what do you sell? Like, I don't know. You just sell like ice to kids and tell them like slushies that taste like the iceberg, I guess, or something. Like,
Yo, there's a climbing wall, but it's the ship turned like up on its side.
That'd
and you have
actually
to
be
try
sick.
and climb up to
that
the
would
top.
actually be pretty sick.
And at the bottom, it's like a dunk tank. If you fall off, they don't have to have safety ropes. You just fall into like a big pool of water.
They don't have the log ride itself. It's a boat that's going down. You could have a whole like they have like if you go to Canada's Wonderland, they have like the people that draw the caricatures there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a draw me like one of your French girls.
Yo, instead of like sitting on an uncomfortable stool, they have one of those old Shea lounges that you can lay down on, and Buddy rips a quick sketch of you.
Titanic theme park actually sounds kind of nice, dude.
There's a business opportunity here. We just have to figure out all the angles.
But if you're rich, you get a better experience at the theme park.
100%. 100%. There's different
There's
tickets.
the upper class and the lower class to the theme park.
There's different tickets that lead to a different experience. The food's a little better, but the camaraderie is maybe a little better if you get the cheaper ticket when you're dancing in the engine room.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Friend of the show, Switzer, on the phone. What says you, buddy?
It would either be the Saw movies or the Purge for sure. Get all the horror freaks out there.
Jesus.
So just so I'm clear, does the Purge theme park encourage murder of other guests?
Well, it would have to be fake murder. It would never open, but kind of like a mystery murder stories.
You know what? In my mind, it actually sounds more like a paintball field. You know what I mean? Like, you're just walking along and someone shoots you and you got to put your hand up and you got to walk to a certain point in the park and be like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it would definitely be good, definitely.
I honestly think both of those, the Purge and Saw, could make great escape rooms.
Yo, a Saw escape room would be wild.
Want to play a game? And literally, you have to solve the game to get out of the room.
Right, like it really is, when you think about it at its core, an escape room plot premise. Mm-hmm. It would just be tough for an escape room to try and convince you, like, we will murder you.
I think actually a lot of these theme park ideas that people are texting in could work as escape rooms. Someone said Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh, God, the things that you could do psychologically to someone just trying to solve puzzles in a Fear and Loathing escape
Be
room.
mind melter, dude.
Dude, someone else also said Lord of the Rings as a theme park, but again, make it an escape room with the goal being like you have to throw the ring in the volcano at the end
Get
of
to
the movie.
Mordor or whatever it is.
Right, and you're going through, you're like dealing with orcs and puzzles and trolls and dragons and things like that. That could make a sick escape room.
A Jumanji escape room? That's literally the plot of the whole movie.
I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't do it. That movie absolutely scarred me as a kid. I'm scared of the idea. I could never go in a Jumanji escape room.
Someone just texted in a Snakes on a Plane escape room. That would be my nightmare. The whole room is just shaped as like a plane.
Yeah.
And then you got, if you had actual snakes in there.
Oh, and you're having to look in like overhead compartments and under seats and in like tray tables and stuff for clues and hints and puzzles. And everywhere you look, snakes.
What if you just had a Samuel L. Jackson escape room? There's like snakes on a plane. There's maybe like the one scene from Pulp Fiction where he's putting the gun to the guy's head. And he's like, say what again?
And you just gotta sit there like
You're trying to figure out what else to say other than what.
If you say what, you're disqualified and you're kicked out of the escape room.
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store, with all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.